Good day. My topic is all about educational technology. Before defining what is educational technology, let's give the definition of this word separately first. Now, what is education? Education is derived from the Latin word educare or educere, which means to lead forth. It is defined as the process of acquiring knowledge, habits, attitudes, interests, skills and abilities, and other intangible human qualities through training, instructions, and self-activity, and transmitting these vital elements of human civilization to posterity. Next is technology. What is technology? Technology can refer to material objects of use to humanity, such as machines or hardware, but it can also encompass broader themes including systems, methods of organization, and techniques. Some modern tools include but are not limited to overhead projectors, laptop, computers, and calculators. Newer tools such as smartphones and games, both online and offline, are beginning to draw serious attention for their learning potential. Now that we already gave the definition of the word separately, let us now discuss what does educational technology means. Educational technology is the study and ethical practice of facilitating learning and improving performance by creating, using, and managing appropriate technological processes and resources. The term educational technology is often associated with and encompasses instructional theory and learning theory. While instructional technology covers the processes and systems of learning and instruction, educational technology includes other systems used in the process of developing human capability. Educational technology includes but is not limited to software, hardware, as well as internet applications and activities. Educational technology is simply defined as an array of tools that might prove helpful in advancing student learning. Educational technology is designed to introduce both traditional and innovative technologies to facilitate and foster meaningful and effective learning. Students are expected to demonstrate a sound understanding of the nature, application, and production of the various types of educational technologies. The course will likewise focus both on developing teacher support materials and the production of technology-based student outputs. Let's now proceed to the theories on educational technology. So there are three main schools of thought or philosophical frameworks behind educational technology. These are behaviorism, cognitivism, and constructivism. Now, what is behaviorism? Behaviorism is a theoretical framework that was developed in the early 20th century with the animal learning experiments of Ivan Pavlov, Edward Thorndike, Edward C. Tolman, Clark L. Hall, B.F. Skinner, and others. Many psychologists use these theories to describe and experiment with human learning. While this philosophy of learning is still very useful, it lost favor with many educators. Next is Skinner's contributions. B.F. Skinner wrote extensively on improvements of teaching based on his functional analysis of verbal behavior and wrote The Technology of Teaching, an attempt to dispel the myths underlying contemporary education as well as promote his system he called programmed instruction. Ogden Lindsley also developed the Celeration learning system similarly based on behavior analysis but quite different from Keller's and Skinner's models. Next is cognitivism. Cognitive science has changed how educators view learning. Since very early beginning of the cognitive revolution of the 1960s and 1970s, learning theory has undergone a great deal of change. Much of the empirical framework of behaviorism was retained even though a new paradigm had begun. Cognitive theories look beyond behavior to explain brain-based learning. Cognitivists consider how human memory works to promote learning. After memory theories like the Atkinson-Shiffrin memory model and Baddeley's working memory model were established as a theoretical framework in cognitive psychology, new cognitive frameworks of learning began to emerge during the 1970s, 80s, and 90s. It is important to note that computer science and information technology have had a major influence in cognitive science theory. The cognitive concepts of working memory, formerly known as short-term memory, and long-term memory have been facilitated by research and technology from the field of computer science. Another major influence on the field of cognitive science is Noam Chomsky. Today, researchers are concentrating on topics like cognitive load and information processing theory. Next is constructivism. Constructivism is a learning theory or educational philosophy that many educators began to consider in the 1990s. One of the primary tenets of this philosophy is that learners construct their own meaning from new information as they interact with reality or others with different perspectives. Constructivist learning environments require students to utilize their prior knowledge and experiences to formulate new, related, and/or adaptive concepts in learning. Under this framework, the role of the teacher becomes that of a facilitator, providing guidance so that learners can construct their own knowledge. Constructivist educators must make sure that the prior learning experiences are appropriate and related to the concepts being taught. Jonassen on the year 1997 suggests well-structured learning environments are useful for novice learners and that ill-structured environments are only useful for more advanced learners. Educators utilizing technology when teaching with a constructivist perspective should choose technologies that reinforce prior learning, perhaps in a problem-solving environment. Now, what is connectivism? Connectivism is a learning theory for the digital age and has been developed by George Simons and Stephen Downes based on their analysis of the limitations of behaviorism, cognitivism, and constructivism to explain the effect technology has had on how we live, how we communicate, and how we learn. Donald G. Perrin, the executive editor of the International Journal for Instructional Technology and Distance Learning, says the theory combines relevant elements of many learning theories, social structures, and technology to create a powerful theoretical construct for learning in the digital age. Now, what is the use of audiovisual aids? According to John Amos Comenius in the year 1592 to 1670, who wrote Orbis Pictus Sensualium, or The World of Sensible Things Pictured, a book which is considered as the first book on the use of visual aids in classroom teaching. Audiovisual aids are defined as any device used to aid in the communication of an idea. As such, virtually anything can be used as an audiovisual aid provided successfully communicates the idea or information for which it is designed. An audiovisual aid includes still photography, motion picture, audio or videotape, slide or film strip that is prepared individually or in combination to communicate information or to elicit a desired audience response. Even though early aids such as maps and drawings are still in use, advances in the audiovisual field have opened up new methods of presenting these aids such as videotapes and multimedia equipment, which allow more professional and entertaining presentations not only in the classroom but also anywhere in which ideas are to be conveyed to the audience. Now, what is a device? Device is any means other than the subject matter itself that is employed by the teacher in presenting the subject matter to the learner. There are 5 purposes of visual devices. First is to challenge students' attention. This can help in getting their attention. Next is to stimulate the imagination and develop the mental imagery of the pupils. Visual devices can help the students for them to create and stimulate their imagination and develop their mental imagery. This can also help to facilitate the understanding of the pupils, provide motivation to the learners, and to develop the ability to listen. Now, here are the traditional forms of visual aids. First, demonstration. Second, field trips. Third, laboratory experiments. 4, pictures, films, simulations, models. And number 5, real objects. Now, what are the classification of devices? There are 4 classifications of devices, and these are extrinsic, intrinsic, material devices, and mental devices. Now, what is intrinsic? It is used to supplement a method used, for example, picture, graph, film, strips, slides, and etc. Next is intrinsic, which is used as a part of the method or teaching procedure. Examples, picture accompanying an article. Third is the material devices. These are the devices that have no bearing on the subject matter, such as blackboard, chalk, books, pencils, and etc. And fourth is the mental devices, a kind of device that is related in form and meaning to the subject matter being presented. Examples are questions, projects, drills, lesson plans, and etc. Now, what is a non-projected audiovisual aids? Non-projected aids are those that do not require the use of audiovisual equipment such as projector and screen. These include charts, graphs, maps, illustrations, photographs, brochures, and handouts. Charts are almost everywhere. A chart is a diagram which shows relationships. An organizational chart is one of the most widely and commonly used kind of chart. Next is the use of technology in the classroom. In the advent of modern technology, computers are common classroom equipment and aid to teaching learning process. Aside from computers, that are still other learning tools and audiovisual aids that the teachers and the students can utilize in order to facilitate learning. These may include digital cameras, video cameras, interactive whiteboard tools, and LCD projectors. Here are the technologies that can be used inside the classroom. First, computers. Having a computer in the classroom is an asset to any teacher. With a computer in the classroom, teachers are able to demonstrate a new lesson, present new material, illustrate how to use new programs, and show new websites. Next is a class website. What better way to display your students' work than to create a web page designed just for your class? Once a web page is designed, teachers can post homework, assignments, student work, famous quotes, trivia games, and so much more. In current day society, children know how to use the computer and navigate their way through a website, so why not give them one where they can be a published author? Just be careful, as most districts maintain strong policies to manage official websites for a school or classroom. Next is class blogs. There are some of a variety of Web 2.0 tools that are currently being implemented in the classroom. Blogs allow for students to maintain a running dialogue like a journal of thoughts, ideas, and assignments that also provide for student comment and reiterative reflection. Wikis are more group-focused to allow multiple members of the group to edit a single document and create a truly collaborative and carefully edited finished product. And lastly, wireless classroom microphones. Noisy classrooms are a daily occurrence, and with the help of microphones, students are able to hear their teachers clearer. Children learn better when they hear the teacher clearly. The benefit for teachers is that they no longer lose their voice at the end of the day.